I stood over my son's casket with my palm pressed against the cold satin, the kind a funeral director swears feels peaceful. But there is no peace when you are burying a child. Michael was only 12. His favorite navy suit hung loose on his tiny frame, his hair brushed the way he liked it for Sunday church. My sister Eva was squeezing my shoulder, whispering that I needed to sit before I collapsed. But do you know what finally made my knees buckle? Not the sight of my baby boy lying still, not the pastor's shaky voice as he spoke about God's timing, not the sound of my mother wailing behind me. It was the notification on my phone. A photo. My husband, Ethan, holding a woman's waist on a beach in Hawaii. Both of them smiling while our son was being lowered into the ground. And the part that hurt the most, his trip was not sudden. It was planned. Before I go any further, I want to take a moment to thank every single one of you who has subscribed to this channel. Your support means more to me than I can ever express. To all the new and returning viewers who have not yet subscribed, I am deeply grateful that you are here listening to my story. I truly cannot wait for you to hit that subscribe button because your engagement is the fuel and the energy that keeps this channel alive. Please remember to share your thoughts in the comments as we go along. I am eager to hear how you feel and what you think. Now let me take you back into my story. My name is Christine Reynolds. I am 43 years old, and for 17 years I have been married to a man named Ethan Reynolds, a software consultant with a calm face and calculated kindness. We have one child, had one child, our only son, Michael. He was born after 3 miscarriages and 8 years of trying. He was our miracle. Michael was the kind of child people remembered, politely curious, always asking questions, always hugging me before bed no matter how tired he was. He loved model rockets, lemon cake, and calling his father his hero. I used to believe we were a strong family. Not perfect, no, but solid. Ethan traveled often for work, sometimes for a week, sometimes for a month. But he always assured me it was for us, for Michael's education, for our mortgage, for our future. Or so I thought. Michael fell ill in early spring. What started as a fever became something darker. He was diagnosed with a rare bacterial infection that attacked his heart faster than doctors could stop it. I was in that hospital room every day and night, sleeping in the chair beside his bed, climbing into bed with him when the pain was too much. Ethan was in Chicago at the time for a conference. I called him the moment the doctors told me Michael needed emergency surgery. He answered the phone with the kind of voice people use when they are pretending to be concerned but are actually in the middle of something else. He said he would try to get on the next flight home. He did not. He did not come home when my son was moved to ICU. He did not come home when our son took his last breath around 2:17 a.m. on a Thursday morning. I remember calling him over and over until my voice broke. His phone went to voicemail so many times I could recite the automated greeting in my sleep. For days he only texted, short messages, hollow words. Stay strong. I am trying. I will be there soon. But he was not trying. And he was not coming. My family tried to fill the empty seat beside me. My sister Eva held my coat. My cousin Jerome handled the casket details. My mother arranged the flowers. Everyone assumed Ethan was delayed somewhere above the clouds. I told them the same lie I told myself. He must be on his way. But it did not make sense. Even if he had taken the cheapest flight, he would have arrived by Tuesday. The funeral was Saturday. The last call I made to him was the night before the funeral. I left a message telling him I needed him, that Michael needed him, that our son's last words were, "Is Dad coming?" He never responded. Then during the burial, my friend Clarissa, who works with Ethan's younger brother, sent me something she said I needed to see immediately. I opened it, still holding the folded funeral program. There he was, on a beach, wearing sunglasses and a smile I had not seen in years, standing with a woman half turned toward the camera, sunlight on her hair, his hand low on her waist like it belonged there. And above the picture, paradise with my love, Maui sunsets, heal everything. The timestamp was from 2 days before the funeral. 2 days, while I was choosing a casket the size no mother should touch. I dropped the phone. My knees gave out. Eva caught me asking what was wrong, but my ears were ringing so loudly that her voice sounded far away. The world tilted, and all I could think was, how long has he been gone from us? Not physically, emotionally. Had my marriage died long before my son did? And that was when something else dawned on me, something that felt too sharp to name. This trip. It was not spontaneous. It had been planned, in advance. Maybe even before Michael was rushed to the hospital. And someone I knew, helped him hide it.
I did not sleep the night after the funeral. My body was exhausted, but my mind was an open wound. I sat on the edge of Michael's bed, holding the last hoodie he wore, a gray one with a rocket embroidered on the front that my sister Eva bought him for Christmas. His room still smelled faintly of bubblegum toothpaste and the lavender spray I used on his sheets. Every creak in the house felt louder in the silence. The walls had seen too much grief in too little time. My mother and aunt slept in the guest room downstairs to make sure I was not alone. Eva fell asleep on the couch, still wearing the black dress from the burial. But I could not close my eyes, not with that image of Ethan burned into my brain, smiling, tan, alive in ways he had not been around me in years. It was close to 3 a.m. when I picked up my phone from the nightstand. The funeral home pamphlets were still scattered across the floor. My phone battery was at 9%, but I opened my call history and scrolled. 32 calls to Ethan in the last week, 13 voicemails, 8 unread text messages I sent him before the funeral, all unanswered. I clicked on his name. For a moment, I considered calling again, but I already knew he would not pick up. So I did something I had never done in our marriage. I searched through our shared phone records. We shared an account because he insisted it was practical and cost-efficient. I used to think it was sweet, like a gesture of unity. Now it felt like my only lifeline to the truth. My heart pounded as I logged in. Every second felt like an act of betrayal, but betrayal had already happened. To me, to our son. I navigated to his call and text records. My hands trembled as I scrolled down the list. 3 numbers caught my eye immediately. Frequent contact, multiple times a day. The longest call stretching past midnight. The first number did not belong to any client I knew by name. The second number was labeled only by the area code, Hawaii. The third number made my skin crawl. It had been dialed repeatedly in the days Michael was in the hospital. On the day Michael died, Ethan exchanged 4 phone calls with that same number. Not one call to me. Then I checked his credit card transactions. There were charges in Honolulu, resort payment, luxury dining, private excursion bookings, and then the one that made my throat tighten, a jewelry purchase from a boutique near the resort, $1,600. The date, 3 days before my son's burial. He was not just away. He was celebrating. He was building memories with someone else while mine were being buried in the ground. At around 5 a.m., I heard light footsteps. Eva pushed my door open without turning on the light. "You are still awake," she said softly. I could not sleep. She sat beside me, looking at my face like I was a fragile thing she did not know how to hold. "Christine, what you saw at the funeral, do you want to tell me?" I wanted to tell her everything, but I did not. Not yet. I was still choking on the truth. By sunrise, my eyes were burning, but I had not shed a tear since the day before. Pain dries you up from the inside. My mother made breakfast, though none of us ate. Family members came by to drop off casseroles and whispered condolences. Not one person asked where Ethan was because everyone assumed there was a reasonable explanation. Nobody wanted to believe a husband could leave his wife to bury their child alone. But then something happened that made my stomach lurch. Around noon, while people were sitting in the living room drinking coffee and exchanging awkward silences, my Aunt Patricia pulled me aside with a hesitant look. She was not someone who spoke without a reason. She took my hand. "Christine, I do not want to add to your pain, but there is something you should know." My breath caught. 2 nights ago, I spoke to someone at Ethan's company. They said he was not on any business trip. He has been on personal leave for almost 2 weeks. Voluntary leave. Her eyes searched mine for understanding, but I felt numb. My ears rang again, the same way they did at the funeral. She squeezed my fingers gently. "I thought you knew." I shook my head slowly. I could not speak. I barely could breathe. Eva, who had followed us, stared with disbelief etched across her face. "What do you mean, personal leave?" My aunt hesitated. "They said he filed it weeks ago, before Michael was admitted to the hospital." My heart stuttered in my chest. "Weeks ago? That means Ethan planned this while our son was still alive, while I was sleeping on hospital chairs and praying for strength." I excused myself without a word and went upstairs. I locked the bedroom door behind me and reached for the only other person who might know something, Clarissa, the friend who sent me the photo. I called her. She picked up immediately. "Christine, are you okay?" she asked, voice trembling. "Tell me everything, right now. Who sent you that photo?" She hesitated. "It came from someone in Ethan's family. I was told to show you because you needed to know the truth." My blood ran cold. Ethan's family. Someone close. Someone who knew but chose to stay silent until he was long enough to be seen. "Who?" I whispered. Clarissa paused. "Christine, the picture was first posted by someone you know. Someone who has been close to you for years." My breath caught. My voice broke. "Who posted it?" There was silence. Then slowly, she said the name. And it was a name I never expected to hear. A name that made my skin crawl and my knees go weak. It was not a stranger. It was someone who had eaten at my table. Someone who had held my son in their arms. I ended the call with my hands shaking. And for the first time since Michael died, I felt something stronger than grief. I felt rage.
I stared at my phone after the call ended, my body frozen while my mind screamed. Clarissa's voice kept echoing in my head. The woman who posted the photo, the one smiling beside my husband in Hawaii, was not a stranger. It was someone who had hugged me at holidays, someone who called herself family. It was my husband's cousin, Olivia. Olivia Reynolds was 40, 2 years younger than me. She was the kind of woman who adapted to any room, soft-spoken around elders, charming around colleagues, attentive around children. Michael adored her. When he was younger, she used to take him to the pier and buy him cotton candy. I used to joke that Olivia would have made a great mother if she ever stopped dating emotionally unavailable men, as she liked to put it.
Never, not even in the darkest guess, did I imagine she would be the woman in that photo. The same woman whose arms had once cradled my newborn son while I slept after a 30-hour labor. I felt sick. I paced my bedroom in slow circles until I heard Eva climbing the stairs. She knocked once and stepped inside before I could answer. "Christine, what happened? What did Clarissa tell you?" I turned to her, my voice stiff with shock. "It is Olivia. The woman Ethan is with is Olivia." Eva blinked, confused. "Olivia who?" "Our Olivia," I said. "His cousin." At first, Eva did not understand. She waited for me to correct myself, to say that maybe it was a different Olivia. But I did not. The truth set between us like a crack in the floor. Her eyes widened. Then the disbelief gave way to disgust. "Christine, that is his blood relative." "Yes." "And she knew about Michael? She was at the hospital. She held my hand when he was in ICU." Eva pressed her fingers to her temples. "This is evil." I wished that had been the end of it. But something Clarissa had said still bothered me. Someone in Ethan's family asked her to send the photo to me. And Olivia posted it publicly? Why would she do that? What was the point of exposing it that way? Unless she wanted me to see it. Unless someone orchestrated it all. I sat on the edge of the bed and opened social media. Olivia's post was easy to find. She had not hidden it, not even a little. The caption was, "Healing in paradise with someone who makes the world quiet." There were heart emojis, a beach in the background, Ethan's sunglasses reflecting the sunset. The post was 5 days old. 5 days. That meant he was with her while I was making decisions about casket sizes and burial plots, while my son's body was still in the morgue, while I was begging him to come home. I scrolled through the comments. That was when I noticed something even worse. People from Ethan's side of the family were liking the photo. His aunt, his cousin Ryan, even his brother's wife Dana. Dana! My head snapped up as the connection formed, like acid in my chest. Dana worked at a travel agency. She had access to booking records. She had once helped plan our anniversary getaway. I remembered something from weeks earlier. Michael had been in and out of the hospital with fevers in March, and during one of those late nights, Dana called me. She asked how Michael was doing. She sounded sympathetic. She also casually mentioned Ethan seemed exhausted and deserving of a break. And had I encouraged him to take time off? At the time, I dismissed it as small talk. Now it sounded like something entirely different. Permission, justification, foreshadowing. A wave of nausea crashed through me. Eva must have seen the look on my face. "What is it?" "I think Dana helped him plan the trip," I said. "She works with travel bookings. She's married to his brother. She probably knew before anyone." Eva clenched her jaw. "So she watched you bury your child alone, knowing where he was?" "Not watched," I whispered. "She stood next to me. She hugged me. She cried into my shoulder at the funeral home." Eva cursed under her breath. I felt the anger rise like heat under my skin, but beneath it was something colder, heavier. Realization. Ethan was not just cheating. He was supported, enabled, protected by people who smiled in my face. I pulled up our bank statements again and searched for travel-related charges from earlier in the year. There they were. 2 round-trip tickets to Honolulu purchased 6 weeks before Michael's final hospital admission, matching hotel deposits, a reservation for a private beachside cabana. None of it was done in secrecy. The bookings were made under Ethan's full name, which meant he didn't expect to be questioned, which meant someone assured him I wouldn't find out, or that I'd be too distracted to notice. He filed for personal leave weeks before Michael's condition got critical, 4 days before the last major fever, while I was still holding on to hope. My hands clenched into fists. He was already planning to go. He knew Michael was struggling. He still went. Eva was pacing now too. We need to confront someone. Dana, Olivia, Ethan, someone needs to complain. But the confrontation came sooner than I anticipated, and not in the way I expected. That evening, while my relatives were sitting downstairs, the doorbell rang. My mother went to open the door thinking it was another neighbor with flowers or food. It was not. I heard her gasp from the hallway, then her voice unsteady. "Christine, someone is here for you." I walked downstairs, every step heavy. Standing in the entryway, holding a small gift bag and looking like she had not done a single thing wrong, was Dana. She smiled faintly. "I came to drop off something for you. From Ethan." Eva was at my side in an instant. My mother stood frozen behind us. I stared at Dana's face, calm, composed, almost pitying. And that was when the truth hit me with a force that hollowed me out. Olivia may have been the woman Ethan held in Hawaii, but she was not the one who orchestrated the lie. Dana was. She was the one who helped him disappear, the one who kept his secret, the one who stood next to me at the funeral home knowing exactly where he was. And she looked me directly in the eye, like none of it was wrong.
Dana stood in my living room like she had a right to breathe the same air as me. The small gift bag in her hand was pale blue with white tissue paper peeking out of the top. She held it out to me like an apology, like a favor, like a peace offering she believed I should accept. Eva took one step forward, her voice sharp. "Put that down and explain why you are here." Dana did not flinch. She spoke softly, as though we were discussing something as ordinary as a late birthday card. "Ethan asked me to give this to Christine. He did not want her to feel abandoned." I laughed, not because anything was funny, but because disbelief cracked something in me wide open. "Abandoned?" I repeated, my voice low and shaking. "I buried my son without his father beside me. Where do you think abandonment begins?" She shifted but did not look away. "He was not ready to face you after everything that happened. He needed space." Eva scoffed loudly. "Space? He is in Hawaii with his lover. He is not grieving. He is vacationing." For the first time, Dana's expression changed. Not guilt, not remorse, annoyance. "Christine," she said, turning back to me, "you have to understand. Ethan has not been happy for a long time. He felt suffocated. He thought you were too consumed by Michael and his health to notice anything else. He needed—" "Do not finish that sentence," I said quietly. She blinked, unprepared for the calm in my voice. "My son was dying. If I chose to breathe for him, cry for him, sleep in a hospital chair for him, it was because I am his mother. And Ethan was his father. But Ethan chose himself." Dana let out a slow breath. He did not choose himself. He chose a life where he could breathe again. Eva lost her restraint, and that life required sleeping with his own cousin? Dana's silence was confirmation. I stepped closer. "How long have they been involved?" She hesitated only a moment. "About a year. They reconnected at a family gathering. Things developed. He tried to end the marriage peacefully, but he knew you would fall apart." I felt like the room narrowed around me. He planned a separation while our child was sick? She shrugged. Michael had been in and out of the hospital before. He did not think it was final. Final. As if my son was a minor inconvenience on their romantic timeline. Eva's fists were clenched so tightly, her knuckles were white. "Get out of this house before I drag you by your hair." Dana held the gift bag out to me once more. This was his last message. I promised him I would deliver it. I took the bag from her not because I wanted it, but because I wanted her gone. "You have 30 seconds to leave." She nodded, as though she had done something noble, and walked to the door.
But just as she reached it, she paused and turned back. He will be back by the end of next week. He wants to meet and discuss things calmly. He hopes you will not make it harder than it needs to be. My vision blurred, but my voice was steady. I buried the only child I have. There is nothing he can make harder. Dana said nothing else. She stepped outside and closed the door like we were neighbors parting after tea. The silence after she left was thick. Eva turned to me, searching my face. "Do you want me to burn that bag?" I looked down at it in my hand. Not yet. I walked to the dining table and set it down. My mother appeared in the doorway, eyes red, voice barely above a whisper. "Christine, what will you do?" I did not know yet, but I knew what I would not do. I would not be silent. That night, after everyone had gone to bed, I finally opened the bag. Inside was a folded letter and a small wooden box. My hands were cold as I took the letter out. It was not handwritten. Ethan had typed it. "Christine, I am sorry for your pain. I know you blame me, but I could not stay in a life where I felt invisible. I loved Michael, but I was drowning for years. Olivia helped me breathe again. I will come home soon so we can sort through this respectfully. Please do not make this uglier than it has to be. I hope one day you understand. Ethan." Understand? I opened the wooden box. Inside was Michael's hospital bracelet, the same one I had not been able to find after he passed. Ethan must have taken it from the hospital when he came to sign paperwork after the fact. He kept the bracelet not to remember his son, but to give it back to me like a token of closure. I closed the box and sat very still. The next morning, I contacted a lawyer, not to fight for the marriage, but to end it. Not quietly, not with dignity he did not deserve. I told the lawyer everything: the affair, the abandonment, the funeral, the betrayal by family members who watched me grieve alone. Olivia and Ethan returned from Hawaii the following Thursday. They did not expect the legal notice waiting for them. They did not expect the family to know everything. They did not expect their secret to become a storm. His brother's wife, Dana, tried to reach out again. I blocked her number. My grief for Michael will never leave me, but grief is not the same as weakness. I owe my son the strength to live, even if his father chose not to be a part of that life. The hardest lesson I learned was this: sometimes the people you trust with your heart will carve it out quietly while they smile at your table, but their betrayal is not your definition. Their choices are their own poison. I survived the unthinkable, losing my child. I will survive this too, and I will never call it love again. Thank you for listening to my story. I want to hear your thoughts. What would you do if you were in my position? Should Ethan and Olivia be exposed to everyone they know, or should I walk away and let time handle them? Please share your opinions in the comments. Do not forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs strength today, and subscribe to the channel so more stories like this can reach others who feel alone. Your voice matters here.